You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings by $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Not feeling the spring energy yet? You're not behind. With Grow Therapy, you can start small, like talking to someone who gets it. Covered by insurance, built for real progress. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. And if something comes up, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/ACAST today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/ACAST. growtherapy.com/ACAST. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Oh, the kettle's boiled. Excellent timing. I'll just make myself a quick cuppa, take a deep breath and pretend I know exactly what I'm doing. Right, let's get started. Have you ever woken up on a Sunday morning with massive anxiety and said to yourself, I'm never drinking again, only to find yourself waving $50 at a barman by happy hour? Do you ever wonder why everyone else can stop at 1 while you end up at a dodgy after party holding hands with a weird bloke called Disco Dave? If so, it might be time to take a closer look at your reliable social crutch, alcohol. On this podcast, I investigate my own deeply dysfunctional dealings with booze and find out what it's really like navigating this alcohol-drenched world, one fizzy water at a time. I'm going to open up a shame shed of humiliating drinking stories to help you understand why waking up with one eyebrow missing and a kebab sticking out of your top pocket might actually be negatively impacting your health. So what happens when you put down those cheeky pints and finally let go of those rewarding mummy wines? I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm Victoria Vanstone, and this is Sober Awkward. All right, let's get this awkward tea party started. Yep, today we're talking about sex. I mean, do we have to? Because here's the thing, as a Brit, I'm fully comfortable taking the piss out of sex. Give me a dodgy pun, a dirty innuendo, or a good hide the sausage joke, and I'm absolutely thriving. But the second it turns into real, honest, grown-up conversations about intimacy or feelings or connection, I instantly become a child. I start thinking about tea, I want to leave the room, I'll probably turn around and go and put the kettle on. I just feel uncomfortable. And I think part of that is because, if I'm really honest, I didn't really have sex sober until I met my husband. Let's face it, I was drunk a lot. So that was my only experience of sex until 8 years ago. And I always had assumed that the correct procedure was just to grab a stranger off a dance floor, drag them home, and have a fairly sloppy, deeply unsatisfying shag. It was sort of a badge of honour then. You'd rock up at the pub the next day with a great story, sometimes involving things like waking up with someone else's socks down your pants. Don't ask. Most of my relationships actually started like that. There was no pause to think, do I actually like this person? Or what do I want from this relationship? It was more like, well, I've slept with them now. They seem to like me, so I should probably like them too. I used to give it a year and then realise, of course, that we were completely incompatible and probably both alcoholics. And then I was like, right, next. And I'd do it all over again. So yeah, the notches on my bedpost were less romantic connection and more a bit wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But then I got married and then I got sober. And now, well, I actually have to be present. And I'll be honest again, I find sober sex, how shall I put this? a bit daunting. I mean, I love my husband very much and he's got a gorgeous hairy body, but it does take me mentally a while to get round to the fact that I should have sex with him. And I do enjoy it when I do. But yeah, there's a lot mentally going on. So today is really interesting for me because we're going there, to the bedroom. But thankfully, I won't be doing all the talking. Today, I'm joined by someone who is not only brilliant at having these conversations, but is also shining a light on what actually happens after we get sober, especially when it comes to dating, relationships, and yes, of course, sober rumpy pumpy. Anna Wolfe is an award-winning journalist and the host of How to Get Wet When You're Dry, a podcast that muff dives into the messy, honest, sometimes awkward reality of life after alcohol. She spent years investigating addiction treatment. She brings lived experience and most importantly, she tells the truth. And of course we love that on Sober Awkward. The kind of truth that makes you feel seen, even if that truth involves shitting your pants on your first date. As for me, well, when I was hammered, I didn't usually shit my pants, maybe once, but what I've realised is this. I never really considered myself what I actually wanted sexually or needed. It was just sort of happening. When pissed, I was always signalling, yes, I want to have sex, when really, probably, underneath the booze, I just wanted an early night and maybe a little cuddle. So yeah, we're all fine joking about it, but the second we have to talk about it properly, for me anyway, it gets weird, which makes it the perfect topic for today. So I want to start by asking Anna, why was it that as drinkers we suddenly became these confident sexual versions of ourselves? And why is it that when we get sober, it all becomes, well, a little bit bloody awkward?
This is something that I've thought about quite a lot. Drinking is so ingrained in dating culture, and it's so normalized. It's social lubricant, beer goggles, like all of these things are so normalized. And we live in a society where like already everything is built to take us out of ourselves or to always be like striving for something in the future, like worrying about something in the past. And like sex is still, it's everywhere, but it is still not something that gets spoken about, I feel, a lot from a powerful place. And like when we do speak about it like that, we label people really quickly. And so I feel like it's this sort of taboo subject matter. And then when you're drinking, I did it for confidence and communication, right? Like I felt as though when I had a drink in me, all of a sudden I was then able to be who I really wanted to be, and which just wasn't the case because I was a fucking nightmare. Honestly, like Godspeed to the men that dealt with me in my past. When I didn't feel comfortable in myself or in my body and I didn't know what I wanted, and when I would have a drink and all of a sudden I just thought, okay, I've arrived. This is it. Lock up your sons. Let's go. There was a lot of darkness that came with that, right? Because you're not fully cognizant. And then I got sober and it just felt like I was a teenager because I had to just meet myself. I had to meet myself and I had to communicate and figure out everything from scratch. I'd had a couple sexual interactions in the past that had been sans booze, but most of the sex that I'd had been with alcohol in my system.
Yeah, isn't it strange that we go through all of these years thinking like tequila is our confidence, like we rely upon it and it's almost like a trick, isn't it? It's tricking us into believing we are a certain way or we're a certain personality. And when it comes to sex, we think we're this crazy wild child, like hanging off the chandelier and acting all crazy and scratching people's backs and thinking that was some sort of badge of honor for the pub the next day. And I feel so cringy and embarrassed about my sexual exploits nowadays. And then you pop out of the other side. And of course, there's been no sexual growth. It's like we're supposed to mature as we go older. And when we start drinking, actually, we stop maturing, of course. And then we pop out the other side, wondering what the hell has happened to our lives, having to relearn everything, all the stuff we should have learned in our binge drinking years. And we come out like children going, what do I do now? I have no idea who I am sexually. And in fact, I'm quite scared.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Honestly, I think I've been sober like over 4 years and I think I am still a kid in so many ways. Like I've upgraded to a bit more of a adult level, but I'm still a kid. In all aspects of my life, I was frozen when I was drinking. And then you're like lobbed into the real world and all of a sudden it's shit, I'm after raw dog life now. Here we fucking go. And it's hard, but I think it's also really wonderful.
Yeah.
I tried to reframe that fear as curiosity and excitement, because I didn't have choices or joy or excitement in regards to anything when I was drinking. And then and I'm still very new in it, all right, but over the years in recovery, I've kind of, experience has shown me that it is pushing through the uncomfortable things that really leads to the fabulous things.
The sort of quote for our show is feel the awkward and do it anyway, which it really is pushing through sometimes. And I find, honestly, Anna, I know I'm in my kid's bedroom, you're at home. These podcasts feel really intimate sometimes, don't they? It's just us in a room and we don't realise that people listen to it. And I often overshare, which I think is necessary in this kind of situation, because people want to know the nitty gritty, because people are really struggling with this issue. And it's something I struggle with on a day-to-day basis, a weekly basis, whereas I've got a husband who's very sexual and very up for it all the time. And I've got this default, my sober default, or perimenopausal probably as well, is to say no and is to reject him. And I'm still finding it really hard to put myself in this kind of flow of being a sexual being. It's just not who I am. It doesn't feel like me because of all that time lost. I must ask you, Anna, what was your first sexual experience when you were sober? What was it like?
Oh my God. It was, they say don't date in your first year of recovery. I dated in my first year of recovery. So I was 9 months in and I saw this guy across the room and I thought, yeah, he's the one. Like I was still really up in the clouds. I was like, I'm going to take you emotional hostage and we're just going to do this. And then we were dating and I just remember we'd gone out for dinner and we went back to his place and I hadn't thought about the prospect of sober sex. It just didn't cross my mind until all of a sudden I was stood in front of this guy that I liked. And I realized when you're public speaking and you don't know what to do with your hands, I was just stood there like, how do I be? And I definitely was not confident at all. But I'm a big believer in just like with anything, it's like flexing a muscle. The more you do something, the more you do something. It sounds like I've just gone on a banging rampage.
That's okay. We want you to. We want you to have done it for us.
Do it for the people. I'm a bit feral, but it was really uncomfortable at first, but gradually in that relationship, I just started to feel okay with it again. And I think I finally realized what sex was, because my sexual experiences in the past, I couldn't remember, or they weren't wanted, or they were just devoid of intimacy. Or I just didn't want to feel my body, because I also had an eating disorder back then too, like alongside my drinking. And then all of a sudden in sobriety, it was I like this. And then because I was more intimate with myself, that in turn was reflected into the boozeless banging that I took part in.
Yeah, I'm impressed because, like, I haven't had to deal with that. I was like a few years into my marriage when I got sober. So it's been a bit more intimate in that way, whereas I've been able to talk about it with my husband. Whereas perhaps when you've met someone new on a date, for example, a sober date, which is a whole other thing that we're going to get into, but to even mention the fact that you're going to have sex, or to even talk about it, or expectations and needs and desires, to have those conversations over a first dinner with someone, I can imagine sober dating is going to be so...
I love it. I really love it. So I'm seeing somebody at the moment, but it's the first person in a while that I met like in the real world. And we met through friends of friends a few months ago, and it was all very wholesome. But when I was using dating apps, like it was awkward, uncomfortable at first, but I think it's also because I wasn't necessarily comfortable in my sobriety, and not in the wanting to drink side of things, but in I thought that I had to almost apologize for myself, or that they would think I was boring or think that I was fucked up. And I just realized I don't owe anyone an explanation. And also, who cares that I don't drink? And I feel like because I stated that I don't drink, it did, it filters out I don't want to say losers.
Riffraff.
Yeah, that's much
Riffraff.
nicer. It filters out the riffraff. And so I don't know, like over time, I really do believe in just being your genuine self, which is a very hard thing to do. And it's something that I still try to do on a daily basis. But I did also fake it till I make it in terms of confidence. I would just go into something and say, act as if I like myself. I'm a huge believer in do the opposite, because my first thoughts cannot always be trusted. And so I just faked it till I made it. And then I found that I wasn't like, I used to put all of this pressure on my romantic interactions because I just wanted somebody to save me. And also because I thought that anybody's opinion of me was who I was. And my self-esteem was being placed in other people's hands, which you're fucked if you do that, right? And then I just stopped putting that pressure on people or those expectations on people. And I realized not every date has to end with something. Like, this doesn't have to be the person that I date. Like, I can actually just ask questions, get to know someone, like think about, do I like this person? And then approaching it with that curiosity and open-mindedness was so helpful. And then I think I really love sober dating too, because you're actually getting to know a person. Like, I have dated so much in my drinking days where I didn't realize I was dating an asshole until 7 weeks in, because we'd been pissed on every date.
I spent years in relationships. I said in the intro, it would take me a year to work out that I was completely incompatible with someone. It would actually take me ages even to realize that they were quite evil sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, hey, he seems to like me and that makes me feel pretty. And I'm going to base my entire opinion of myself on the opinion of someone else. Basically, I surrounded myself with people who I thought made me feel good, which meant I never did the work, the internal work, as you say, to be authentic and to like myself. And you only really get that in sobriety. And that does take a long time. That's a stepping stone, isn't it? That you learn throughout your sober self, is to look inwards and self-reflect and slow down and go into something, for example, sober dating, and know yourself. And that is a really difficult step to take, because you're so wired to acting in a certain way and not having confidence and using the old bevies to top you up, as it were. What sort of drinker were you, Anna, back in the day?
So I was a good old binge drinker. I didn't think that I had a drinking problem for a while, because I just thought, I'm young, I'm just a party girl. But apparently it's not really a party when you get wasted, make out with all of the food at the party, so there's nothing left for anybody else, and then throw up in the bathroom. It's socially frowned upon, apparently. And so initially, I would always, if I was at a party or an event, it was, I'm drinking to get drunk. It still doesn't make sense to me how people drink just to have one and to enjoy the taste of a glass of wine. But then suddenly the social occasions became more frequent because I was seeking them. And then I was drinking before the social occasions by myself, like liquid courage before a date, for instance. It would start as a glass of wine, and then it was a hardcore vodka martini, because I was a classy lush. And it just got progressively worse. And I just kept asking my friends and everybody if they were free every single night. And I was a fucking nightmare. People had to basically babysit me. And it was all pretty gross. And I just embarrassed myself a whole lot. And just, it wasn't my finest moments.
Messy. Yeah, it sounds very similar to me. No shame here. It's funny how we look back and we think of drunk sex as normal, and you just find someone on a dance floor and take them home and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And it's very sloppy. The consent is a little bit clouded as well. There's times where I woke up with people that I didn't even remember going home with and blamed myself. And there's so much going on with it. At the time, I treated it like a joke. I was like, I'm hammered. Everybody does it. My mates are all doing it. This is what we do. We have one night stands. But now I look back, it makes my body all icky. I can't believe that I did something so freely and abandoned my body. And I know a lot of people that write to me all the time say they still feel that shame. How do you get over the shame?
I don't think it's our shame to carry. I really relate to what you just said, because I used to make a joke out of things that happened that were non-consensual, because I, number one, doubted myself. Number two, thought it was my fault because I was drunk. And And I think I only started to really process things that happened maybe a year or two into recovery, because it just seemed like this is my fault. And I would make jokes about it to my friends at the time to frame it. I think I was trying to frame it to myself also like it was a choice. But even then, my whole body felt icky. It didn't feel good. I just couldn't really identify why, because I was so busy focusing on, fuck Anna, like you got drunk. And then I realized in sobriety, this is not my shame to carry. Yes, I was in some situations that I might not have been in if I was not drinking, but it doesn't make what happened okay. My drinking was not normal, but we shouldn't be living in a world where you go out and something like that can happen to you, whether you're drunk or you're not drunk.
Totally.
So yeah, I think I just had to really get honest with myself about that. And by getting honest, just speaking about it to girlfriends in recovery, because shame dies when you share about everything. And it was really emotional. Like I had a visceral reaction, and I couldn't even go on the tube and things for a while when I started to process it, because I didn't want to be around men. And this isn't, not all men are going to take advantage of you. Not all men are predators, right? But it was just in that moment when I was processing all of this, I felt deeply unsafe and uncomfortable. But in releasing that and going through that, I came out the other side of it. But it's not easy, and it shouldn't be something that we have to worry about.
No, and I think I had a lot of guilt too, which I don't carry as much now since talking about it, but I feel responsible for making myself so vulnerable. I put myself in situations that I had my drink spiked once and was nearly assaulted, and so many different situations. I could list 20 to you. And that it's not so much a shame feeling. It's a feeling of, sadness almost, that I was bloody stupid enough. I didn't care about myself. And it was only in sobriety that I started to understand that I mattered and my choices mattered, and that I should have been more able to say no rather than people pleasing and just going along with anything. And it can be really hard to see those situations when you're a drinker. And then when you come out the other side and go, oh gosh, why was I doing that? Why is that so normalized to act out like that?
A few things there. Like, I think what is normalized, sadly, is just that a lot of women are going to get assaulted. Like, that's normalized, and that's fucked up.
Really
the figure is 1 in 3 women will experience sexual violence. And I personally believe it to be way more than that, because most women will not report if they've been raped, because the system drags women through the mud with that. I never reported it. And I think that's what's normalized, and I think that's what's fucked up. But in terms of putting yourself in those situations, I relate to that a lot. But I also, when it comes to looking at my past, I'm a huge believer in accountability, like taking accountability for my behavior and seeing my part in things. In the same breath, this is one area where the only thing I could say is I wasn't well.
Vic, so do you fancy coming on a sober holiday?
Don't worry, we're not talking about some corporate wellness retreat with cucumber water and enforced eye contact.
No, this is a sober awkward retreat. 8 days of sun, sweat, laughter, and absolutely no hangovers.
Yep, it's all happening in Thailand next October. Picture this: yoga at sunrise, writing workshops, ice baths, Thai boxing, and lots of awkward sober dancing under the stars.
It's a proper holiday with proper weirdos, our kind of people.
Yeah. You'll meet legends who've also given the booze a boot and want to have fun without feeling like a social reject.
Come solo or grab a mate. Bring your awkward, bring your sun cream. No pressure, no judgment, just a big, warm, sober hug in paradise.
All the info is at soberawkward.com/retreats. Come and get sweaty with us, emotionally and physically, in our all-inclusive jungle resort. You'll start out as 15 strangers and leave with 15 new sober mates.
I'm not sure I want 15 new sober mates, actually, particularly sober ones.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're not invited then.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings by $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Like, I wasn't seeking any of this stuff that was happening to me. And I think this is the one area where, when it comes to accountability, I'm like, I'm not taking shit except for the fact that I was just really not well.
It does get really murky sometimes, and that's certainly not our fault. And it's horrible that we live in a world that we're not safe in sometimes.
No, and I feel like rhetoric around it, there can still be backlash. Every single time I have a conversation about this with people that might not be aware of the subject matter, I will get a guy saying, oh yeah, but women lie. There's going to be some women who ruin this one guy's life because they, like, fuck that. We need to be having these conversations in a way where people don't get defensive, because otherwise, where is the change going to happen? We need to address, like, men need to look at sexual violence and why these things are happening and addressing that, because I just can't be fucking bothered to have to explain it anymore to guys.
And I guess that's why sober dating is so good, because you feel so conscious and you're so there and you're so present. And as soon as someone's weird, you're like, I'm out. I'm not walking out of this situation feeling like something weird or bad has happened. You want to walk away from any situation feeling good, like with pride. And when you're in a situation, when you're sober, that generally happens always because you've got such good boundaries.
My boundaries were not good boundaries in early recovery. Like, in early sobriety, I was still just figuring everything out. And I didn't feel great about myself at the beginning. And so what I think what I attracted, but then also what I accepted, and also how I behaved, meant that I was in like my first romantic situation. It's not one I would go near now. Let's put it like that. And so I feel like my relationship with boundaries has changed, because also realizing that, like, boundaries are not for other people, they're for myself. It's not for me to tell somebody how they need to be, or to make this huge announcement, like a public service announcement. It's for me to be able to push through the discomfort of having certain discussions, to express my needs in a way that, like, isn't self-righteous or pouty and passive aggressive, and to just be comfortable with saying what is going on and delivering it in a way that isn't cunty. So that and now, dare I say it, I feel like I have watertight boundaries, but learning how to get to that place has been a funny, interesting ride.
I didn't know what a boundary was. I had no idea what that was. I was just like, yes, do what you want. I don't care. I'll go with it. It was just like this massive roller coaster ride. Even when I was sober, I was still trying to go out and be this crazy party animal. Look at me, I can still do it. I had no boundaries at all. And it was about learning what my values were for me. And that's been super helpful. Is like, I know that I like equality, I like fairness, and all of these things. If I always bring my problems back to those values and the reasons why I do things, it's really helpful to know that actually I know myself now. And that's what this journey, I know we hate that word, but that's what this is all about. It's about learning who you are as a sober woman and stepping into it and growing and coming across these paths and these boundaries and marching through them, which is really empowering. And often we say on the Sober Awkward podcast, early sobriety is like collecting these bricks and building this impenetrable wall until you feel this kind of sober confidence. And it's the same with sex, isn't it? You have to learn what you want, what you don't want, what makes you comfortable. How did you learn? What was it that you did? I know you said you humped your way around London.
Can I just say, I love that you said you hate the word journey, because I always say that whenever I say journey, I'm like, my journey. It makes me sad inside, but sometimes there's no other word. So my journey with getting comfortable with sex, that's what you asked, right? Yeah. I think it was I started to see sex as intimacy. And I would say that I'm a sexual person. And that was a really wonderful thing to discover, because I had an eating disorder for 10 years where I didn't even want to be in my body. I didn't have sex for 5 years at one point. I just really just didn't want anyone to see me naked. I didn't want to be naked. I wasn't enjoying any interaction. And I I had 2 boyfriends growing up, probably at school. And so I came into recovery, and all of a sudden it was my first time properly dating. Did
Yeah.
right before going to treatment, but that was more a situation of, I'm just going to try and find someone to fix me. So I'm going to attack all of Hinge. And I just went on lots of first dates and embarrassed myself, etc., etc. But fast forward to sober sex and recovery and gaining confidence with it, I think because I had hated my body for so long, and I can't say that I hate my body now, like even the word hate in the same sentence makes me feel, ugh. When I started to like my body and to be able to tune into it, it was really joyous for me, because I hadn't had that ever. And so I think I saw it as a really beautiful, powerful thing. And then also, my sex in the past had been devoid of intimacy. And all of a sudden I was dating really nice guys. I've only had 2 boyfriends in recovery, and they've been really lovely, just like nice guys. And I felt safer communicating and was just able to really learn and show up as myself.
So you enjoy sex now? Like, why?
Why?
If you do, then why? Yeah. I'm asking for a friend.
I love sex now. Like, it felt as though my whole life I knew that I was a sexual person, but there was just this wall up and I couldn't access it. But also, I just never felt safe in myself or my sexual interactions, and I didn't trust myself or trust other people, and I was out of it. And then that hasn't been the case in recovery, and it's like, it's my choice. I feel like there's still this narrative that a man sleeps with a lot of people, and it's like, always a lad. A girl does it, a girl or a woman does it, and it's there's still that stigma there. And a lot of sexual, there's still, I don't care what anyone fucking says of, oh, things are better now. I don't think they are better now. I think even I was scared going into my podcast, because I thought, especially as an investigative journalist, that I'm not going to be taken seriously anymore. But the thing is, having sex is natural. A human thing is sneezing. It's perfectly natural.
Anna, I must ask very quickly, was your eating disorder, was it fueled by the alcohol?
They were just the ultimate couple from hell. So I didn't know that I had a drinking problem. I just thought I had an eating disorder. I went to rehab, didn't mention my drinking the whole time I was there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the second the therapist wanted to read out an impact letter from a family member, the first thing she read out was, you get angry when you drink and it scares me. And then I just ceased fire. I was like, you can't read this out. This is unacceptable. I didn't know this was going to happen. And I like manipulated my way out of it, like the good old addict hat trick. And so I didn't think I had an issue with booze until, lo and behold, I did. And my first thing I remember was I was emotional eating, really emotional eating from a young age. Then I had a benign tumor and an autoimmune disorder where half of me paralyzed for a year. And that's when I really started to rely on food for comfort. But I did it really secretively, in the same way I would drink secretively. And gradually, over a couple of years, I went from, I guess, like the weight I am now. I think everyone, like, weight stuff can fuck off, but just to paint a picture, I went from that until what doctors call obese. I call it larger. And then anorexia kicked in, and like bulimia. Within 1 year, I had lost half of my body weight and I was underweight. And when I was underweight, I didn't drink, because booze equals calories. Calories are also bullshit, by the way. And so I just really didn't think I had an issue, because someone who can quit drinking for a while and without any help must be fine. But then I started to introduce a cheat meal on a weekend, which turned into having a glass of wine. And the next thing, it was like this marriage from hell. And I would binge drink, then I would binge eat. Then I'd be so miserable that I'd done that I would starve myself for a whole week. And it would just happen again and again. And I was in hell. It was so horrible. I wanted to die. I remember just holding onto my stomach, like wanting to rip my skin off. And so the booze would alleviate that pain for me, but then it would also lead to more pain. And it was just cyclical and horrible. I feel like it was easier for me to talk about getting drunk and things I'd done when I was drunk than it was for me to talk about things I had done with my eating disorder, because eating disorders get dark, really dark.
Yeah.
And so the drinking was my way of trying to numb that, but it just, that you can't numb something by, with another substance. So it was horrible.
It sounds like it was fueling it. Very combined then. It's numbing out the feeling of shame and regret of doing what you did, but then you've got more shame and regret, and you end up in this cycle of just being really unkind to your body.
And it's not
I guess.
uncommon. A lot of people with substance misuse disorder will also have an eating disorder, like a lot of people. I'd say most of my girlfriends in recovery had also experienced an ED.
Wow. I've always struggled with food. And actually, I'm thinking now, I don't know anyone who doesn't mention to me whether they're on a regime at the moment, what diet they're doing. Like, it is a massive conversation. And everybody's obsessed with how they look and whether it's good enough.
Sucks.
It's like a noise around me all the time. And I try to give a really authentic message with everything that I do. And I try not to wear too much makeup. And I've got no bra on in my pajamas when I'm interviewing you.
I'm in my pajamas while wearing the cardigan because otherwise you'd see my tits.
Free the tits, free them. So I'm really trying really hard, but there's this pushback, this like toxic pushback all the time of diet and exercise
everywhere.
And what you can. Have you lost weight? You look good. I don't feel comfortable even commenting on the way someone looks anymore because it feels so shallow to me.
It really is. Sex sells. And we are told that we need to look a certain way to be desirable. If you look at any movie, like, women are hypersexualized, and it is a real message of this is where your value lies in your appearance. I can't remember the statistic, but I think it's women of a certain weight will suffer an income loss compared to women who are thin. I think something similar applies when it comes to makeup, and it's fucked up, right? And the headspace and the energy on a daily basis that goes into thinking about things keeps us so trapped. But it is because we're being sold this all of the time. Like, they make money off of us feeling like total shit, and it sucks.
And it's only going to get worse with AI. I think I might just make an AI thing of myself, and then I don't have to deal with it. I'll just make a really busty blonde. There's this burning level in us, in women especially, of like, how can I ever strive to meet the expectations of the media? Or I just can't reach it.
And the thing that's so crazy is beauty ideals have been around for God knows how long, and they are forever changing. And I feel like when it comes to having sex, because we feel so shit about ourselves, and guys do also, there's this insecurity, and that makes it that you feel like you have to put up a front, or you're just insecure because you don't feel like you're meeting this unrealistic expectation. That makes it really difficult to like then feel sexual.
And so you drink.
Yeah.
It's that baseline feeling that we grow up with. That confidence isn't there. So we go, oh, there's something. I suddenly feel beautiful. I suddenly feel confident. And there it is, our like secret elixir that's going to make us feel like that for the first time ever. It's easy access to beauty. Now, we got to talk about your podcast very quickly.
It's called How to Get Wet When You're Dry, and it's about love and lust without the liquor. And naughty name aside, I really wanted to do it because it's like what you said with Sober Awkward. It's combining the light with the dark and pushing through awkwardness and having conversations. And there's a lot of joy in the awkward. And our relationships with other people are a mirror to our relationship with ourselves. And no place like dating brings that all to the surface. And so I just thought, dating is a really great way to get to the deeper stuff underneath. I just wanted to do something where people could laugh and see that recovery is not boring, and also just own stuff that used to be really embarrassing or things you've done that you're not proud of. And just to be like, I'm not an expert. I don't know shit. Like I am just somebody who is still figuring it out, and everyone is too. I don't think anybody in this world is capable of being in like the healthiest relationship, because that doesn't exist. Like we're just all people trying to figure everything out. And so that is what the show is about. And then I have people come on who are significantly wiser than me, and I just sit there and I tell stories that I regret later.
Before we end, I would love if there's somebody out there who is newly sober, is single, and is desperate to start dating again, but is feeling the fear. What would you say to them?
Fuck the fear. Honestly, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and on other people when we date, and fuck that. Honestly, just try and reframe it as something fun, like an exploration. And remember that the other person you are sitting across from, no matter how much of a bravado they have, is also insecure. So just show up as yourself. No false advertising. Like if I were to try and present as a perfect version of me, it wouldn't last very long. So just be as weird as you want to be and just go crazy. Do your thing and have sex. Lots of sex.
Yeah. Funnily enough, something came up on my Facebook advertising thing today, which was hilarious because I was speaking to you, and it was called Alcatraz, right? Alcatraz, and it was a dating night in an old prison. I was like, oh my God, why didn't they have Alcatraz when I was a drinker? I want to go. That sounds amazing. So if you go to an old prison in Brisbane and they ply you with booze until you're absolutely hammered and probably sleep with someone, which
in a cell.
I guess they consider to be a successful night, probably in a cell, maybe dressed up, maybe some handcuffs. And yeah, maybe there's an angry guard.
What's the symbolism with it being in a prison?
I love it. Oh, thank you, Anna. That was such a lovely chat.
Thank you. It was
amazing.
so nice to meet you, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Where can people find you?
So I am like an Instagram virgin, but you can find me at I'm Anna Wolfe on Instagram, and then the show is at Wet Win Dry Pod across all social media, and you can get it on the YouTube, as the kids don't call it, and all other social platform stuff.
Amazing. I'll be tuning in. If you're questioning your relationship with booze, struggling to moderate, or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for some support. Talk to a mate, book in with your GP, go to an AA meeting, or find an online support group. I've got one. Just head to cuppa.community. For more resources, head to soberawkward.com, where you'll find details of our amazing Thailand sober holidays, the 30-day sobriety guide, books, blogs, writing courses, and loads more. I know this sobriety thingamajig can feel uncomfortable at first, but there is help out there. Find your community, connect, and start to feel the awkward and do it anyway. And if you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, please rate it, review it, and share it with your mates. Because honestly, my mates are bored of hearing about it.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings by $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
The longer you stay alive, the longer you can enjoy Boost Mobile's unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. So here are some tips. Do not parallel park on a cliff if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not mistake a wasp nest for a piñata if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not microwave a hard-boiled egg if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with the price that never goes up. Stay alive and enjoy unlimited wireless for $25 a month forever with Boost Mobile. After 30 gigs, customers may experience lower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
This is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. O-Pill is the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Let's be real, getting a birth control prescription is not always easy, and it's so much admin. In fact, about a third of women face barriers to access prescription birth control. Between scheduling appointments, missing work, class, or just trying to exist, it's a lot. But now O-Pill is putting birth control in our control. O-Pill is a daily birth control that's FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen free, and 98% effective when used as directed. Grab it online or at most major retailers, no prescription or doctor's appointment needed. So if you're thinking about birth control, check out O-Pill to see if it's right for you. Use code GIGGLY for 25% off your first month of O-Pill at OPILL.com. That's code GIGGLY at OPILL.com. Birth control in your control. We love to see it.
So, as you probably know, my comedy memoir, 1,000 Wasted Sundays, is officially out. All my magnificent fuck-uppery in one awkward hit. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy, it's now available from all good bookstores.
We always say all good bookstores, don't we?
Yeah.
Are there bad bookstores?
No, it's probably ones with moody sellers.
Oh, yeah, really depressed librarian folk.
Yes,
okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah. So there are probably some, but we're only storing it in the good ones.
It's only made it into the goodies.
You can also get it from all good online retailers. The print version and ebook are out now, and the audiobook will be available in March. I've been writing my memoir for 5 years. It will make you laugh, cry and cringe, and hopefully inspire a few people to reconsider their relationship with booze. If you love the podcast, then I think you'll love the book, even if I do say so myself. Hamish has read it. What did you think?
I feel like I know a little bit too much about you now, to be honest, Vic. Look, I really loved it. It was hilarious and surprisingly moving, but I feel like I've seen you naked in a literary sense. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah. From an emotional point of view, seriously, it wobbled my teeny weeny wooden heart, Vic.
Okay.
My teeny little wooden heart.
Well, his his wooden heart is broken. Anyway, so if you do manage to get your filthy mitts on a copy, please do me a favour and head to goodreads.com and give me a review. Doing that will help me get it out there to those that need a bit of sober support. So there you have it. My story, unwanted warts and all. Come and get awkward with me.
Not to be too demanding or anything, but seriously, go and buy it now.
Yeah, go and buy it. Go and buy it right now.
Yeah, don't just tell your friends. Buy it, and then buy your friends one or two.
Yeah, don't give them a copy. Yeah. Buy it, yeah.
And you know what? Don't be careful where you store it. If you lose it, you can always buy another 5.
Yeah, buy another one.
Yeah.